Okay. Thank you for being here. Today is September 4th, 2024, and this is our Continuum of Care public meeting. Alex, can you call the roll?
Yes. One second. Sorry, I was moving some of our board members over to the panelists.
Thank you.
This roll call.
Take your time.
All right, Dorsol and Christina are here. All right. Here we go. Okay. Welcome, everybody. When I call your name, please say here. If you're here, Patricia Sam.
Here.
Tamara Bauman.
Here.
T.T. White.
Here.
Jaja Floyd.
Here.
Bella Irons. Dorsol Plants.
Here.
Ruby Romero.
Here.
Martha Sassarosi.
Here.
Christina Sawicki. I can see Christina.
Does that work? Here?
Yep. Hey. Elizabeth Maupin.
Here.
Amy Thomas. Amaya Lenore. Victor Liu.
Present.
10 members present and 3 absent. Quorum is met.
Great. Thanks, Alex. I appreciate that. Now we move into our theory of change and land acknowledgement. Would Member Elizabeth like to read the KCRHA theory of change?
If we create a homelessness response system that centers the voices of people with lived experience of homelessness, then we can focus on responding to needs and eliminating inequities to end homelessness.
Thank you so much for that, Elizabeth. And I believe we have Patricia reading the land acknowledgement. Patricia?
Thank you. This is Patricia, CoC Board member. The King County Continuum of Care Board acknowledges that we work on the unceded traditional lands of the Coast Salish peoples, especially the First Peoples of Seattle, the Duwamish people, the original stewards of the land, past and present. We honor with gratitude the land itself and the Duwamish tribe. This acknowledgement only becomes meaningful when combined with accountable relationships and informed action, and is the first step in honoring the land that we today sit on and their people.
Thank you so much for that, Patricia. Now, I believe that would move us into, do I hear a motion to approve the board meeting minutes review, or the board meeting minutes from August 2024?
I motion that we approve the board meeting minutes from August 2024.
Thanks, Raja. Is there a second?
Okay.
Is that Elizabeth?
Yes.
All right, great, thank you. Any discussion, any edits? Cool, let's move into a vote of the approval of the August 2024 CoC board meeting minutes.
Yes. Okay. Patricia Sam.
Approve.
Tamara Bauman.
Camera dropped.
Oh, she dropped off. Sorry. T.T. White. Approved. Jaja Floyd.
Approve.
Tamara's coming up.
Tamara, do you approve the meeting minutes for last month? Tamara, do you approve the meeting minutes from last month?
Yes, sorry.
Thank you, no, you're good. Dorsal Plants,
Approve.
Ruby Romero,
Approved.
Martha Sacerosi,
Approve.
Christina Salaki,
I approve.
you, Elizabeth Moffin,
I approve.
Amy Thomas, Amaya, Victor Liu.
Approved.
Right, with 10 approvals, the motion is passed to approve the August board minutes.
Great. Awesome. Thank you guys. I believe that now moves us into the public comment portion of our public meeting. So if anyone is there anybody in the room there today to make a public comment?
No, there's not.
Okay, then I think it'll be just on the Zoom call. Go ahead and raise your hand. And we will call on it in the order we receive it. So the public comment portion is now open.
All right, Jade, I'm going to move you to talk.
Thank you. Can you hear me? Yes. Okay. Thank you so much. Good afternoon. My name is Jade Weiss, and I'm a resident of King County, a member of the King County Continuum of Care, and a member of the King County Healthcare for the Homeless Community Advisory Group. I'm not here today to ask the CoC Board to consider anything due to the collective tragic loyalty to the status quo and incessant neglect of the theory of change. Instead, I will use my time to speak the truth. The King County Regional Homelessness Authority is a place where upwards failure is celebrated and where false promises are dealt to both employees and clients. Petitions and providers are consistently centered while the people remain neglected and abused. The theory of change has never truly been followed, and those with lived expertise who actually do sit at the table are puppeteered by Mayor Harrell and used as pawns in predatory political games. And house community members continue to suffer outside while those inside flirt with power instead of hold it accountable. In addition to the elimination of the implementation board, the interlocal agreement is being amended without community input. Further, employees with lived experience have notoriously been unjustly exiled or fired. The city has had its grip held tightly around the authority's reins from the very beginning, and a cross-regional approach to solving homelessness has never truly been practiced. Instead, lies, abuse, and mismanagement is the legacy of the KCRHA. This was a toxic public-private partnership from the start and will remain as such so long as it keeps in violation of the theory of change. Thank you.
Thanks, Jade. That was the only hand up for public comment.
Okay. Thank you so much, Jade, for your comments today. We appreciate it. As always, we can add any questions you have throughout the meeting to the Q&A, and we'll be able to answer those either in the parking lot next month or in real time. So thank you guys so much. Let's move us into the next section of our agenda, which I, of course, let go away. 1 second. Sorry. What is the next piece?
The next piece is the standing up of the CoC convening ad hoc work group.
Oh, yes, great. Okay, great. So Catherine, is this going to be you?
Yep.
Okay.
You and I.
You and I and Jaja. Everybody, we're all playing. Let's no, but you want to tell us a little bit about what this is about?
So we have not started anything yet, except I have been looking at locations. So I think next steps is getting it stood up, and then we can begin.
Okay, and this is for the CoC convening that we're planning to have in November?
That's correct. There is one thing that will definitely be on that agenda, which is the presentation of the charter review work group and Victor is the board liaison, and I believe he'll have an update on that during that time of the board meeting for updates.
Perfect. Great. Thanks for that clarification. So I think what I hear is that we need a motion to stand up the the convening work group. Is that what I need to hear a motion?
That's
This is
correct.
Melissa moved, or Elizabeth.
I move
Hmm.
that stand up the work group to plan the convenings.
Do I hear a second? Thanks, Tamara. Appreciate it. So that moves us into discussion about it. Is there any discussion? Any questions?
This is Christina. I have discussion. What happened to the youth one that was supposed to go before this one?
The youth convening is taking place on September 28th.
And that's a Saturday, I believe. Just so everyone's aware.
Correct.
Okay, is there any other further?
Will there be others?
Sorry, what?
Will there be other convenings before the end of this year with our membership at large?
I don't believe so. I think this is the November one is gonna be the one that we have for the second convening, which I believe the program rule does require just 2 full convenings a year. It has been in the past, the board has spoken about wanting to have more than just 2. So, maybe that's future conversations for next year. And I think technically the youth one would count as our 3rd of this year, but I don't know if that's, I don't know if all the service providers are coming to that. I'm not sure how that one works. We'll get an update on that soon, I'm sure, from Trayvon, because I can't speak to it. But thanks for bringing that up. That's a great question, Elizabeth. Any other questions?
Yes, I have a question. Just if someone can remind or clarify, since this is an ad hoc work group, how would folks participate? For some
Great
of our
question.
committees, I think if it's a committee, we have an application process, but if I recall correctly, ad hoc there's less process, it's more accessible.
I believe that's right. Maybe I could hand it off to the staff to answer that a little bit better.
That's correct.
Yep, if folks want to partake in the convening planning, please reach out to Catherine Todd, who is going to be supporting the convening work group for the convening work group. Yeah, that's what it is. For the November convening, we'll be leading that and taking on the logistics and planning. So folks can reach out directly to Catherine.
Great, thanks, Kelsey. I appreciate that. Is there any other hands? I don't see any hands. Is there any other question? Not hearing any. Shall we move into a vote to stand up the convening work group, the ad hoc convening work group for the November 2024 convening? I think we could do a roll call, or do we want to do a voice vote? I guess we could do a voice vote.
Yeah, you can do a voice vote.
Cool. So all those in favor of standing up the 2024 convening work group, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, sounds like the motion passes. Thank you, guys. So we'll get to work on planning that now. That's exciting. Okay, so let's then move us into the next portion of our agenda, which is, sorry, one second. It jumps away from me every time I click away from
Okay.
it. I'm so sorry.
Updates from CoC committees, work groups, and the Youth Action Board, but I don't think Trayvon is here today. So committees and work groups, if you have anything to update.
Sure, yeah. I believe that would start with the system performance committee then, right? So, and then we can give updates on the other ones. So I'm going to give a quick update on the system performance committee, and then I'll have Tamara follow up if she has anything to add. So we had a lot to do at our last meeting. It was on Wednesday, August 21st from 2 to 4 p.m. And we had a few important items on those agendas. It included a recently implemented practice of grounding our meetings with Leah. And we also have Alex now there as a support. So that's nice to have Alex on the committee with us, helping us there. And we had Tamara share the song Battle Cry by Sia and Angel Hayes. So that was really interesting to hear how that kind of was in her thought process. We also learned that Tamara, my partner in crime on the SPC, will be stepping down as co-chair, and we will be putting more focus. She will be putting more focused eyes on the well-being metric plan. So that being said, we will be electing new co-chairs, as I believe my one-year term will be ending soon as well. The System Performance Committee has welcomed a few new members. Frank and Ben both have been really great contributors and are asking important questions. And then we do have the application period that is still open, and we're going to be doing the co-chair elections soon. So if anybody's interested, they can find that application on and the recruitment flyer on the kcrj.org website under the About tab, boards and committees, and then the CoC Board tab. Then finally, you can find the System Performance Committee page. We also met a few new people that came from BitFocus. We met Lauren, who's helping Melissa, our new administrator. So we got a report out about the usage. We have about 1,459 active users across 147 active agencies. And that means there's about 671 different programs in there. We also observed an increase of logins from the previous months, which with upwards of 11,000, which could potentially be due to prepping for the new live inventory module, which did go live this month. And we heard about BitFocus's next steps for Q4, which included the user manual for HMIS, which would include the updates for the inventory project. We're also going to be distributing the user surveys and completing the annual deduplication process, as well as the annual data privacy and security training and compliance checklists. So the last thing we did before handing it off to Tamara and just giving her a second to wrap up on her end, our meeting included discussion surrounding policies, specifically in regards to organizations applying to gain access to HMIS, who may have been denied and then enter into the appeals process. However, the SPC does have a clear written appeals policy, and so the committee is gone through the appeals process last year with that organization. I'm glad to report that there is movement in resolving this particular situation, and it will be there'll be a higher level report more in depth at one of the coming SPC meetings. So our next one is going to be on September 18th, and they're always on the third Wednesday from 2 to 4 p.m. And the link and agenda will be available on the System Performance Committee page. As I stated earlier, it's on the CoC Board tab. And now to hand it off to Tamara, if she wanted to give a quick update on, what the well-being metric plan is, and just flagging that we have about 5 minutes left on this section. But yeah, Tamara?
Yes, I see Kelsey's hand. Do you have a question or want to make a comment, Kelsey?
It's to provide a work group update later on.
Oh, okay. So my portion is basically just to reiterate what Ruby had said. I am stepping down as co-chair of the System Performance Committee because, one, I want to be very clear that I believe in sharing power and leadership potential and capacity. And so I'm hoping that folks who are interested will let us know, and there will be a vote to, in a job description, I suppose, of what we'll expect you to kind of carry forward. And also, I'm super duper excited to be starting this kind of pilot project that would be focused specifically on co-designing metrics with the community on what a healthier homeless response system would look like when we measure things based on a well-being analysis. So I'm working on a tool for us to use, and I'll be hosting like several listening sessions and focus groups with hopefully starting out small and then expanding out. But the goal that as I see it, and which will be informed and iterative in partnership with the community, ways or what do we want to see measured across the system? What do we want to see improved upon? What do we want to see more of, and what do we want to see stop? So basically, I am my ambitious plan is just to change the entire system. Since I can't burn it down from the ground up, I'm going to like ask for participation from the community to help with that, because nothing that I do as an individual is going to be successful if we don't have the buy-in of the larger community to create change, long-term enduring social change. That's what I want to see for all of our people. And so that's why I'm stepping down. And I'm going to be kind of spearheading this kind of pilot project that I hope will be informative for the CoC, the long-term total landscape shift, culture shift. How do we think about people experiencing homelessness? How do we serve them? And how do we like respect each other's humanity? Because that often gets lost in this work. And another piece that I'm especially excited about with the NOFO is the focus on supporting the workforce. You know, the people who are doing the work on the ground, and, you know, in other areas of the system, we need support. Like, and I'm going to be like speaking truth to power here. We need support because the shortage of people working in this field are burning out, and it's hard to replace them. So we need stronger investments in the workforce and like the service delivery and functions and policies. So that's all I wanted to say. Please, if you're interested in sharing input and sharing your feedback and thought process, or want to co-host these listening sessions, please reach out to me. I'll put my email in the chat. And then that is it.
Thanks, Tamara. Oh, yep. Any questions?
I have a question.
Go ahead, Elizabeth.
Would another convening of the general group be helpful in this kind of listening work and getting input? So maybe that's something we should try to prioritize. You're muted.
Absolutely, I do. Want to prioritize that for sure.
All right, thank you.
And I'll bring that to the mental health and well-being committee too, which is a separate thing, but I'm trying to marry these things. This is a blended thing. This is a married thing. So that's it.
Yeah. We want to be very functional.
Is there any other questions for myself or Tamara about the System Performance Committee? Okay, I'm not seeing any. We're going to move on to Kelsey. Do you want to give an update?
Yes, I would love to. Hello, Kelsey Beckmeyer, Chief of Programs, Program Performance Manager with the CCRJ. I have been helping to shepherd the NOFO through the fiscal year 2024 competition. Where am I? Is there noise? Can you hear me?
Weird water thing, yeah.
Slower.
Also, if you could
Is that
speak a
better?
little bit slower, yeah.
My
Something wrong.
video and audio are not working well together. Again, Kelsey Beckmeyer, she, her pronouns, Program Performance Manager with KCRHA, kind of shepherding forth the NOFO process for the Continuum of Care funding this year, and wanted to provide an update on where we are with things. So all of the applications from the local competition are in, and they are in the hands of our raters. So raters are reviewing applications to provide the kind of criteria-based score for each of those applications. That will be concluded by September 23rd. There'll be 2 debrief sessions with the raters on the 20th and 23rd to finalize the recommended priority list order. That list will be then sent to the CoC board for review and vote on October 2nd. So that is a date for you all to be ready for. We will be presenting a kind of ranked order list of all of the projects, both renewing and projects that are applying for new funding through either CoC bonus funding or domestic violence bonus funding. We did get some updates from HUD before the applications were finalized around our bonus amounts. So our CoC general bonus fund is about $7.5 million this year, which is an increase of about $4 million than last year. And then the DV bonus funds was increased from 1.5 million to just over $2 million. So we have a little over $9 million in bonus funding available. We had a number of new applications that were submitted and are being reviewed. So all of the both renewals and bonus projects will be presented to you all in terms of the recommendations for what we should send forth to HUD. That is kind of step one of the NOFO process. Step two is the collaborative application, and this is our system spanning application for how our homelessness system is performing. This is a narrative application, and it is being finalized by KCRHA with input from a number of community partners. So we reached out to folks at City of Seattle, King County, Mayor's Office on Ending Domestic Violence, the Coalition for Ending Gender-Based Violence. We'll be reaching out to the Seattle King County Coalition on Homelessness, the Healthcare for the Homeless Network. So really trying to span a good collection of external partners to help inform that collaborative application. This is a really key part of the NOFO, as the collaborative application provides the score of our CoC and how we're performing, which then kind of helps provide an order for HUD of what continuums to then provide bonus funding to. And this application in 2024 will be the application that is used for both 2024 and 2025. So while we have a little bit of a break next year, the work this year is really vital in terms of providing a really solid and thorough review to HUD of what is happening within our continuum at all sorts of different levels through all sorts of different partners who provide, you know, information and work as to what we are doing to address homelessness to make it rare, brief, and non-occurring. We will also likely have a special meeting that we will hold in October. I will coordinate with Catherine to get a poll sent to the whole board to identify one of 3 dates for that special meeting that will be on reviewing the collaborative application. So we intend to get the board a full copy of the collaborative application, a full draft of it by October 18th. It is due by the 30th. So we want to provide a decent amount of time for you all to have a moment to walk through that. The NOFO planning work group will also be convening through the rest of September and October to work collaboratively on some of the responses in the application. So that will be space as well where we have kind of a collective working times. Those are the NOFO updates that are on my brain at this moment. Are there any questions? Martha, I see your hand.
How much funding was requested from the bonus funds?
Let me.
How much in application?
Yep, how much in applications? I want to say for the CoC general bonus, it was, and I'm pulling up the numbers exactly right in front of me. That's not the one I wanted to look at. I was putting all this together yesterday. Did I put it here? Did I put it here? I want to say that the CoC general bonus dollars is just over 9 million. Here we go. For general CoC bonus, it was 9.8 million was requested, and there's 7.5 available. And for the domestic violence bonus, there was 3.8 million requested and 2.6 million available. So at this, like, just a general review of how much money, we do not have enough bonus dollars to fund all of the applications that were submitted. So that will be part of what the raters are reviewing, is which one should we be elevating to HUD?
Thank you.
Yeah.
I was actually gonna ask what Martha asked, because I wanted to see, I just wanted to see what the differences were, like what, if there was improvement in the programs and in the past CoC ratings or score. In the past, just to see, that way I can just track, moving forward, how the scores look this year and then next year and so forth.
Yeah, so what I can do when we get the final rating put together, because we don't have final scores for this time period, but I can do a comparison between the scores from last year and this year for at least all of our renewing applications to show any changes between the 2 years. And then we can make sure that we put that together as we move forward as well. So there's kind of that ongoing comparison.
Thank you.
You can see on our website right now the priority list from last year, and I will actually pull up that document and put the link to it in the chat, because we have all of the NOFO materials from prior years on our website as well.
Thanks for doing that, Kelsey. Really appreciate that, because I'll check those out as well. I had a quick question. So I believe we had mentioned, or you had mentioned in the past, that we were going to have a couple special meetings in September. And so I was just wondering if the special meeting in September's, or the one that you were mentioning in October, was going to replace those, or should we still be keeping an eye out for those September special meetings?
That is a great question, Ruby. That was when I was projecting the NOFO would be due at the end of September. The NOFO is actually due in October, so we won't need special meetings in September. We will just have one special meeting in October.
Great. Okay, thanks. That clarifies a lot for me. I appreciate that. Is there any other questions for Kelsey? Not seeing any. And yep, I see that there is that link in the chat now. So that's good. Thanks, Kelsey.
Thank you.
I think we can move into the, well, is there anybody for the coordinated entry update as well?
I can provide a little bit of an update. At the prior meeting, the Coordinated Entry Committee was looking at previously reviewed prioritization recommendations. KCRHA needed to get input from both HUD and the state regarding the ability to include race and ethnicity within a prioritization schema, as long as it is not the only factor by which someone is prioritized through coordinated entry, then that is allowed. So the Coordinated Entry Committee is reviewing the prioritized schema and discussed some additional metrics that folks would want to include within that. And at the next meeting, I believe, is to look at whether or not to do kind of a phased prioritization of moving forward with what was presented back in November, and then setting kind of a timeline around integrating other criteria such as behavioral health criteria and physical health criteria that we would need access to more, I don't want to say more valid, more concrete data in order to incorporate that. So that's kind of the next step for the Coordinated Entry Committee, is around looking at a potential phased approach of changing the prioritization criteria for coordinated entry.
Cool. Thank you. It sounds like they're doing a lot of good work over there. I appreciate the update on the Coordinated Entry Committee. I think I would just want to mention too that I believe there's not going to be an implementation board meeting this next week. So I just wanted to give everybody a heads up if they're looking out for that. It's not going to be going on until October. And I don't think there was any particular reason that it was canceled other than lack of business. So I just wanted to be transparent on that in case anybody is keeping an eye on the implementation board. And I believe this would move us into the work group section. So I think we could start out with—
There's a question in the room, Ruby.
Sorry, thank you.
Hi, my question is for Kelsey. I don't know if I heard you correctly, because it was, so for the CEA assessment, they are wanting to add race and ethnicity to that, but it wouldn't affect the prioritization.
I will clarify. So this is around the prioritization schema and criteria to enhance who is prioritized for housing resources that are available, and to have that prioritization schema include race, ethnicity, gender information, and other identified vulnerabilities in order to enhance the prioritization criteria. And I believe, should that move through the coordinated entry committee and come to the board, more detailed information about that will be presented, so that you all have it in front of you and able to kind of digest it a little bit better than a little snippet from me.
Thank you.
Great. Thanks for that. Any other questions? Not hearing any, not seeing any. I believe that would move us into the work groups portion of this. Does Victor want to come and give an update on the charter revision work groups?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Ruby. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Victor Liu. For this work context that you will see here in his pronouns. I'm the liaison for the CoC Board Charter Mediation Work Group. So for the work group, I have been the co-facilitator with Susan Tanner and Derek Worthoff from CSH, and with 7 members, 4 members from the general membership, and then 3 members in the CoC board. Essentially, they are Ruby, Dorsol, and Tamara. Thank you so much for your participation. The work group had met, it's required to have 3 required meetings, which had already happened. And then, speak slowly. Then tell me, sorry, Singaporean tend to speak very fast, like from the East Coast. So also, the work group, as I mentioned, had met for 3 required meetings and 4 optional work group meetings. And we were so ambitious that we thought we could finish in the 3 required meetings, but we're a little bit behind on the timeline. So our final meeting will actually be on this coming Friday on September 6th. And then at that time, the plan is to come with the work group members to complete reviewing the charter revision sections that the membership and the board had agreed to revise from the previous membership meeting. And then from that, we will be presenting what needs to be voted on by the board and the membership in the November convening.
Great. Thank you for that update. Is there any questions for Victor on that? Okay, is there?
One in the room.
Elizabeth?
Oh, sorry.
Is there anything you can tell us about what you see as really needing to be changed in the charter?
Yeah, thank you so much for that question. So from the previous membership and board meeting, which I believe happened in May 2024 this year, there was specific 3 sections that this charter revision work group are tasked with revising. And those 3 sections, essentially, I would say that it's really around term limits and renewal process for existing board members, and also dismissal process. And then, so it's the main element around. And the third one was also the co-chair process, how many terms, what is the renewal process for the co-chair as well. So those were the 3 sections that were voted on by the membership and the board in May. So at this time, the charter revision work group are only looking at these 3 specific areas. And again, those will be presented to the CoC board and the membership in November convening. And so the work group is not tasked to look at anything else in the charter. And if there are any specific areas that the board and the membership would like the charter revision work group, there will be I understand there will be another application process for individuals who are interested to participate, and that will be a different opportunity. But specifically in November, those are the three sections that the board was and the membership were asked to review.
And I can add a little bit more context to that. Just reading over the charter, the previous or the current charter, and looking at the revisions that we're hoping to, or that we will be presenting. It's just a lot more detailed. I think that we really went into not so much restrictive details, but just like informative details as to like, deadlines or timeline things, and also just like how the wording wasn't always clear. So we were trying to make sure that the wording was clear and not just not wordsmithing. I mean, like actually using the correct terminology and stuff like that. So I feel pretty good about it, and I look forward to being able to, to have Victor present it to the membership. So, are there any other questions? No? Okay, I'm not hearing any. I also have a quick update for the cross-cutting policy work group. We have had our second meeting, and so we're still looking over the same document that we spoke about last time, which is the community standards for the Continuum of Care, King County, Seattle. And so what we're doing is we just kind of started figuring out how we're going to attack it. So we're looking through each section and trying to figure out exactly what needs to be added in, like for instance, the live inventory count and stuff like that. Like we're going to have to put those sort of things in there, and just making sure that all the documents that KCRHA for their standards has already been, laid out, making sure that those are all in one place, for everybody to easily find. And we're just really trying to think pretty carefully about what kind of how much, like what the information is that goes into it, and how accessible it is for everyone to see. I feel like as the cross-cutting policy work group, like we really want to make sure that we're communicating what is going on in our continuum based off of definitions, and like what the, what is our baseline of understanding. So we're kind of looking at it from that method, like from that idea. And yeah, it's a really great work group. There's a lot of great people on there that have a lot of passion and a lot of focus on specific areas. So I think it's a really good standing work group to have, and I'm excited to continue to work on that as well. It's my baby and I love it. So we're going to be having our third meeting at the end of the month. And go ahead, Elizabeth, do you have a question?
Yes, actually, since it appears that the implementation board may disappear, is there anything that needs to be changed in our policies or charter related to our relationship with the remaining board?
Mm-hmm. Wow, I think that's a great question, Elizabeth, and thank you so much for uplifting that. What I will say is that it is just the new interlocal agreement, or ILA, is in the process, and it hasn't been, as far as I know, unless there's an update on that, hasn't been put into action yet. But I think that would fall suit under, there's a clause in the charter currently that says we can make changes to the charter if we need to based off of program stuff, right? So like if like HUD were to change the program, but I'm guessing that would also kind of maybe just to change, like just to take words out, like the implementation board and stuff like that, because we don't need that in the charter anymore, Alex, right?
But will we be taking back some of the responsibilities that we delegated to the implementation board, since it won't exist anymore?
I don't think we've delegated anything to the implementation board. We'll talk more about that later. I think once we cross that bridge, we can come to it.
Yeah, there'll be more discussion on that later. Right.
Is there any other? Sorry, go ahead, Alex.
I was just gonna check in with Eva, see if we want to take a 5-minute break for our captioner here.
Well, we do have it on the agenda.
Yeah.
So we can. I think we can move into a 5-minute break.
Meet back here at 2:46.
2:40.
1 minute.
Oh, 2:50. Sorry, 51.
You get a 1 minute break.
We're all on schedule here. Yep.
Yep.
That's all right.
All right, thank you, everybody.
After the nomination.
provide.
Okay, well, by my clock, it is 2:51. I'll just give a second for those in the room to come back.
That works. And Ruby, just for awareness, I emailed you the part for TT tonight. The lines to send.
Great, thank you.
And also, Chair, I hear the request for going over the presentation again. Happy to do that before we proceed with that.
Perfect. Yeah. So before we go into the co-chair election process, Austin's going to give us a brush up on the voting process and how that's going to go down today. And I hand it off to Austin. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Awesome. I'm going to be sharing my screen, folks. My name is Austin Christopherson. I serve as the clerk of the King County Regional Homelessness Authority. And hopefully that works. It does. Perfect. So this is the same slideshow that we saw last month, going over the voting process for the CoC election today. I was about to say next month, but it is today. The election of the CoC co-chairs will occur during today. There will be two positions, co-chair position A, co-chair position B. There will be no differences in powers between the two co-chairs. It is simply to help organize the election. We will be using the Roberts Rules process to conduct the election, and the election will be ran by someone who does not have interest in serving as co-chair. If it's not the current chair, we will elect a chair pro tem for this election. In this case, we have had the amazing member TT White volunteer and train, and I jumped ahead. The chair, or in this case, chair pro tem, will open up the nominations for co-chair. During that time, any member can nominate someone for the position, and you may nominate yourself. Then another member will need to second your nomination. If there's not a second, that is not a full nomination. The chair will then ask nominee number one if they accept the nomination. We do want the person to want the job. And then we will be repeating until the chair closes the nominations by asking 3 times if there's any more nominations. Then each nominee will get 5 minutes to speak on their candidacy and the order the nomination was made prior to voting. So how will this work? In this case, we have 3 candidates or 3 nominees, green, yellow, and purple, in that order. Green was nominated first, yellow was nominated second, and purple was nominated third. All candidates will be given 5 minutes to speak in said order: green, yellow, purple. After such 5 minutes of each member is done, we will then vote one nominee at a time until one nominee reaches the majority of the vote. So first is green. Green got 4 yeas, 8 nays. Green candidate did not receive the majority, so we then move on to the second candidate. In this case, it's yellow. Yellow received 10 yeas, 2 nays. Yellow did reach the majority, and they actually have won the election. Therefore, since they have won the election by receiving a majority of the votes, purple no longer needs to run in that election. Again, in theory, if this is co-chair position A, this does not stop purple from rotating or for not being a nominee in co-chair position B. And by charter, one thing that is not on the slide is it is 60% of the voting members is majority as defined. So we will get a quorum count, an up-to-date quorum count, and I will probably read into the record the votes needed to pass. Just some friendly reminders as requested, and you will be hearing the same thing pretty much from TT in just a little bit. But you are not voting yes or no on the person. Please try not to make it personal. You are voting yes, I would like to serve this person as co-chair, or no, I would not like this person to serve as co-chair. The order that you are nominated is the order of the speeches and the elections. Every nominee still gets that 5-minute speech prior to the vote, and the election is complete once a nominee reaches a majority, again, 60%. You can run for both position A and B, however, please do not hold both position A and B, as those are two separate positions. And then finally, an abstention, in theory means you're throwing away your ballot, so it might make the threshold, to be the nominee a little lower, so it is highly encouraged to please keep it to a yay or a nay for simplicity in vote counts. With that, that's it. That's the presentation that we have. I'm here to have any questions, comments, and then we will move on over to getting a chair pro tem in the seat. Ruby. I don't think any.
Oh, sorry, there's no questions? No, okay. Well then, so due to the chairs wanting to seek election, we need to select a chair pro tem. Member TT White, as mentioned, has volunteered and has been trained by staff to help facilitate this fair election. Is there a motion to have TT White serve as the chair pro tem for the remainder of the meeting?
So moved.
Thank you, Tamara. Do I hear a second?
Second, this is Martha.
Great. Well, there we go. Sounds good.
And then a voice vote, chair.
Oh, yes, that's right. And how about a voice vote? So we'll go all in favor of having member TT White serve as the chair pro temp. Say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any nays? Not hearing any abstentions? No? Cool. Well, congratulations, TT. You are the chair pro temp.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, we can.
Can we nominate?
Okay, hi, I am TTY, and thank you all for your vote today. I'm just gonna read over something really quick before we open up the election. As per the charter, we are able to elect 2 co-chairs to serve the board. For the election of the co-chairs, we will hold 2 different votes, one for co-chair position A and one for co-chair position B. Like Austin mentioned, there is no difference in the powers awarded to these positions. Nominations do require a second. You may nominate yourself and you may run for both, but you cannot hold both. And like you mentioned, also you do need to have a second. If you do not receive a second, we will move forward to the next nominee. If you are a nominee, you may still vote in your election. As per the charter, a majority is established by 60% of the voting members. So today I believe we have 10 members present in order, or 12 members present. In order to pass, you would need to have 8 votes. So 8 is your 60%. As a reminder, abstention could lower the threshold needed for the 60%, as that is essentially not voting either way while you're present. And just to elaborate a little bit more, abstaining in this point would mean you guys are throwing away your votes. So please, just remember it's not a personal vote on the person or the nominee. It is just a professional thing that we have to get done today. So abstaining would lower that threshold. So it's highly encouraged to keep your vote to a yay or a nay. With that being said, we are now opening nominations. For co-chair position A, are there any nominations?
This is Jaja. I would like to nominate myself for co-chair position A.
This is Ruby. I would also like to nominate myself for co-chair position A.
Okay, so we have to start, so Jaja's was first. So we have to get somebody to second Jaja, and then second from Elizabeth. So Jaja, you are a nominee for position A.
Okay, now I nominate myself.
Now you go, Ruby.
Okay,
Now you go,
thanks.
Ruby.
I nominate myself.
Second.
Is that Tamara?
Tamara seconded.
Yes.
Martha, you had your hand up before Ruby, actually. Yeah.
Martha.
Martha, you are.
Martha, you're on mute.
I'm all set, thank you.
Okay, are there? Personal?
I'd like to nominate myself for co-chair.
I second that. And this is Ruby. Yeah, this is Ruby. Sorry.
That's 3 times, right?
Okay. So are there any more nominations? I'm asking a second time, are there any other nominations? And then third and last time, final ask, are there any other nominations for co-chair A?
Those speeches.
Okay, so each nominee, so our 3 nominees are Ms. Jaja Floyd, Ms. Ruby Romero, and then Mr. Dorsol Plants. Each of you will have 5 minutes to speak to your board. And we will go in the order that you were nominated. So Jaja Floyd, you now have 5 minutes.
Starting when you speak.
Starting when
Thank you
speak.
so very much, Pro Tem TT White. I just want to say thank you so much for allowing me to co-chair you this season of the CoC Board. I unfortunately had life experiences happen to me for the loss of my husband of 41 years, and that took me out of the running. I mean, I was not able to be the co-chair to the ability that I wanted to show up and express to you the leadership that I am so aptly endowed to share. I am a person who believes in power sharing and not power hoarding. I am also a person who believes in a collective decision and not running in silo. I am also a person with lived experience of homelessness and have been on both sides of this continuum of care, you know, and I would just would like to ask you to give me an opportunity to serve you once yet again when I have no restrictions and I can step into my full self and share in leading this organization or this committee of the CoC under the HUD to do and be the best that it can be, with everyone at the table doing the best that they can be, empowering, encouraging, and lifting up, and making sure that those who are needing the continuum of care, who need coordinated entry, who need to be counted in the pit, who need to know what the housing inventory committee is doing and what we have out there. I just want to lead that, but not alone. I can't lead unless I follow. So I want to follow alongside of you, stand by you, and stand up with you to be the best co-chair that I can be for you. And I'm going to give back my time, Austin.
Awesome. Thank you, Jaja.
Okay, Ruby.
Hi. Okay. Hello, fellow board members. As most of you know, my name is Ruby Tuesday Romero, and I use she, they pronouns. I grew up here in Seattle and have lived in King County my entire life. I'm a musician, a policy analyst, event planner, dog mom, and advocate. I thank you all for being here today and taking your careful consideration of the nominees for co-chair position. The past few months serving as interim have been a tremendous honor and a bit of a struggle, but it's also been a crash course into many different fields that just 2 years ago, while experiencing homelessness, I never thought I'd participate in. From 2016 to 2022, I lived unsheltered in many different forms in places that had minimal homeless resources, such as White Center, Bearden, Kent, and Tukwila. My lived expertise includes surviving intimate partner violence, domestic abuse, the carceral system, substance use disorder, death and maneuvering grief, behavioral health disorders, evictions, and the eviction process. I've also widened my knowledge of service provision and the application processes, like using 211 as a tool, system navigation, community outreach, conflict resolution, and a high level of understanding of the root causes of homelessness, as well as the intersectional factors. I also maintain strong connections with the leaders from important groups, including the Duwamish, LGBTQIA2S+ communities, sex work and human trafficking survivors, people who are disabled, aging and elder communities, artists, and people currently experiencing homelessness. In my time on the board and on committees, I have assisted in the development of various documents, and I've been a rater for the PSH funding, helped update this year's NOFO local application, rating and key indicators, and scoring matrix. I have been a part of the convening plannings in the past and charter revision work group, familiarized myself with Robert's rules a little bit, Open Public Meeting Acts a little bit, and the CoC program rule, as well as the interlocal agreements and the CoC charter. I also helped set up the cross-cutting policy standing work group with Catherine Todd and host a community meeting every Tuesday. If elected, I will lead our board in activities that strengthen the bond within the continuum between funders, service providers, our collaborative applicant, business owners, housed neighbors, and unhoused neighbors. So through articulating our own experiences and by leveraging real life context directly from the people we're elected to serve. As co-chair, I will remain grounded in our work to change systems and end homelessness. It is up to us to convey that there is as many solutions to homelessness as there are people experiencing it. In a region full of innovative leaders and visible poverty, we are in an important position to influence change across the nation. HUD already celebrates our Continuum of Care Board because we are made up of mostly people currently experiencing or who have experienced homelessness. But we aren't just that. We are thoughtful planners, careful thinkers, and passionate advocates demanding a new status quo. So with that being said, we have a great slate of nominees, so there's no way that we're going to be out of luck here. And however, it would be my honor to continue serving as co-chair. So thank you. And I also yield my time, Austin. And thank you, Pro Tem.
Thank you, Ruby. Member Plants, your time starts whenever you start speaking.
Thank you, Chair Pro Temp, and thank you, Advisory Board and KCRHA staff and members of the public. So my name is Dorsol Plants. I use he, his pronouns. And I think some of you may have some inkling or some sense of why I put my hand up for a nomination this time. There's been an amazing strides and some great work to increase access to this meeting, both for the board members present and for the public. But I think that there's more that can be done. I could wax philosophical about this, but I would point to the number of times that I have attempted to ensure that the public had access to the meeting, that board members had access to the meeting, and that we all had access to those materials. There's been great strides on that, and I appreciate the support. And I agree with the comments that Ruby made earlier. I don't think that there's any losing with this slate of candidates. But I think that I've demonstrated a desire and a willingness to do things differently, which is something that I think is being called for right now. The issues and the work that we are doing is on the back foot. It's on the retreat. We've lost the implementation board. And as was pointed out earlier, there will need to be some strong conversations about what this board's relationship looks like with the governing board, with KCRHA, as we continue to work on the theory of change and we continue to try and make homelessness a one-time incident that ends quickly. And so, yeah, I am not putting my hand up because of some great wealth of experience or some expansive knowledge. I'm putting my hand up because more than anyone here, I have given feedback, sometimes not as well formed as it should have been, but my goal has always been to improve the access to this board and the ability of this board to function. And if elected, that would be my commitment. And I believe that some of you have seen that. Thank you, and I yield the rest of my time.
Thank you, Member Plants. Do we need to pump a break? Yeah.
No, we're good. We're
Okay.
ready to vote.
Okay, we are ready to vote. Chair Pro Tem.
Okay, so we will now hold a vote on each nomination in the order received. Starting with Ms. Jaja Floyd. Jaja Floyd has been nominated for co-chair position A. Members, please say A to vote in favor of the nomination of Jaja Floyd and nay to vote against. Alex, will you please take a roll call vote?
I'll be happy about Chair Pro Tem.
Yes, Ruby.
All right, I saw something in the chat and I just wanted to flag that for you guys before we went into the voting process.
Question, do we get a chance, did they get a chance to answer the question?
I would probably say no, because it's outside of the 5 minutes speech.
Could we ask for a response from folks?
They all have some time left.
They all did have something.
Yeah.
If we want to do that, yes, we can, if that's the Chair Pro Tem, if you would like them to respond to that question.
Do you want each of the nominees to respond to the question that's in the chat?
We do have a little bit of time left.
All right, so we'll do that and we'll just do it in order.
Okay, so can you all see the question that's in the chat? Jaja and Dorsol.
If not, I can read it out loud.
Yeah.
Okay.
A question from the public. I have a question as a CoC member for potential co-chairs. I'm curious what each nominee sees as the work needing to be done by the CoC within their potential terms.
Jaja Floyd.
I would say for me, I would like to see that the CoC's relationship with the governing board, bringing the lived experience seats that are going to be on that board through the CoC. That's what I'd like to see on this term. I believe that the lived experience voice is a very powerful voice, as it is part of our theory of change. People closest to the problem are best for the solution. And so that's what my hope would be to finish out in this term for the next year, that the relationship with the governance board and the CoC become more cohesive and less stagnant.
Thank you, Member Floyd. Ruby.
Great, thank you for that question. I would say personally, yeah, the governing board relationship is a major part, actually, fulfilling the advisory committee role, to be giving inputs and review of the documents that are being submitted through the governing board. I would also say that I would like to see more convenings, more communication between the CoC membership, and really opening lines of communication between city council, different various bodies that maybe don't know fully yet grasp the situation, and hopefully can provide some education to the public. I believe that if we educate the public, we are able to communicate our experiences, then as a CoC, we can start to actually see shift in our constituents' minds, and maybe asking for different solutions from their elected officials, which in the long run is going to get us to the end of the end picture, which is minimizing homelessness, ending homelessness here in King County. So thank you.
Thank you, Ruby. Dorsol.
Thank you. I think in the short term, it's one of the things I alluded to. It's understanding the new ILA and the relationships that get shaken out from that relationship with the governing board, and also ensuring that KCRHA is set up as much as possible for success with this reset and this opportunity. I think I would also add ensuring that the NOFO process is fully successful. It's my understanding that there was some constructive feedback that was provided through the last process. And so ensuring that that feedback was implemented and we see kind of that trend going back upwards. I think though that, like I said, the most important piece though is focusing on this reset and ensuring KCRHA is set up for success and that we have a strong relationship with the CoC membership and with the governing board. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Plants.
There's 11 members present.
It's 19. There's 12.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. We're just getting the final quote to make sure that the threshold is correct. Is it 12? 12. So with that, it is 8. 8 votes needed, and then if you want to reread this was Jaja.
Yeah.
And we'll be good to go.
Okay, so now that everyone had a chance to answer that question, we'll hold the vote on each nomination in order received. Jaja Floyd has been nominated for co-chair position A. Members, please state A to vote in favor of the nomination of Jaja Floyd and nay to vote against. Alex, can you please take a roll call vote?
Yes.
For Jaja.
For position A.
For position
Yeah.
A, yes.
Okay. Please say your vote when I call your name. Trisha Sam.
Yay.
Cameron Bauman.
Yay.
T.T. White.
Yeah.
Doesn't approve. Bella Irons.
No, she doesn't.
Oh, she does. Or Bella, or sorry. Jaja.
Abstain.
Thank you, Bella. And Jaja, what was your vote?
Wait, Bella,
Abstained.
Jaja's vote was.
Yay.
Okay.
Dorsal Plants.
No.
Ruby Romero.
No.
Martha Sacerosi.
Nay.
Was that a no?
No.
Thank you. Christina. Oh. So no. No, for Christina. Elizabeth Moppin. Yay. Amy Thomas. Oh. Victor Lowe.
No.
Kenyatta Carol Holman.
Yes.
Is that yay?
Mm.
Yes.
Yay.
Okay, with 6 yays, 5 nays, and 1 abstain.
Vote fails.
Vote fails.
71.
Yeah. Ruby has been nominated for co-chair position A. Members, please state A to vote in favor of the nomination of Ruby and nay to vote against. Alex will take roll call vote.
Okay, please state your vote when I call your name again. Patricia Sam.
Yay.
Cameron Bauman.
Yay.
TT White,
Yay.
Jaja Floyd,
Yay.
Bella Irons,
Nay.
confirming that was a nay.
Correct.
Yes, thank you. Dorsal Plants,
No.
Ruby Romero,
Yay.
Martha Sacerosi,
Yay.
Christina Sawicki is a yay. Elizabeth Moppin, yay. Victor Liu,
No.
eight yays, 3 nays.
Okay, congratulations, Ruby. Ruby Romero is the new co-chair position A.
I forgot Kenyatta. Apologies. Kenyatta Carolyn,
Yay.
Okay. One more time, congratulations again, Ruby Romero is the new co-chair position A. Okay, we will now go to vote on co-chair position B. Are there any nominations for co-chair position B?
This is Jaja Floyd. I asked to be nominated for co-chair position B.
I second that. Sorry, I second that.
Are there any more nominations for co-chair? Dorsal?
Yes, I'd like to nominate myself for position B.
I second that.
Are there any more nominations for co-chair position B? I'm asking a second time, are there any more nominations for co-chair position B? Third and final time, are there any other nominations for co-chair position B?
Speeches.
Okay, each nominee will have 5 minutes to speak and your time will start whenever you begin. First up would be Jaja Floyd.
Hello, this is Jaja Floyd, and I do not use pronouns as I love pronouns, and I am a she, her. I use a she suite is what I use if I do use pronouns. I am coming once again to ask you to nominate me for co-chair position B. I may have earlier not given you my full slate. I have been working as lived experience in this field for over 30 years now. And I have been trying to sit at tables working through the systems to make sure that they adhere to what that says the rules, but first of all, what the people want. And that's why I'm here, to work alongside the staff and the agency. KCRJ is a young agency, and it is growing stronger. And I am here to make sure that they succeed with my part in it and with our part in it as a continuum of care. I would also like to share that it is very important for me that everyone who is on the board and in the membership use their voice. And if you don't want to speak, then let your co-chairs and your board members know so that we can speak for you and make sure that any issues that you see needing to be translated and brought to the forefront is done. I am also here to stand alongside of you in bringing an end to homelessness. We cannot bring an end to homelessness unless we open up our doors and widen the way we house people. There are people with various traumas who are living unsheltered, and those traumas need to be met the way each individual needs for them to be met. With that, I believe that peer navigation is a very important part of that. And through the NOFO process, we can understand better how to bring the various different types of housing to the table so that those who are living unsheltered can have their needs met. I would also like to say that I am a team player. I'm a very open person, and I am here for the fight. I have a passion for people who are marginalized, and it seems as though the people who are marginalized are people who look like me, BIPOC, indigenous people of color. We are the ones who are most unhoused and the least of the population. So I would like for us to come together and bring the rules that are set forth, this new ILA. We need to make sure that it has the theory of change at its forefront, and that people who are closest to the problem get a seat at the table, but not only a seat, but there to affect change, not just to be a token, but to be there and to speak up and to be heard and listened to. I would love that we work together to bring the politics out of things so that the work can get done. And I yield back my time, Austin.
Thank you, Jaja. Chair Pro Tem.
Thank you, Member Floyd. Member Plants, you now have the floor, and your time will start when you start speaking.
Thank you again, everyone. I'll be brief. My positions have not changed in the last 15 minutes, and so hopefully everyone remembers what I said, because I didn't write it down, so I wouldn't be able to repeat it exactly anyways. I'm here to do the work. I have spent most of my life and time in forms of public service in one way or another, and that is what I'm committed to. We're in a very interesting time. There's a lot of energy, and anytime you're in a system and there's a lot of energy, that's a lot of opportunity for change. It's a lot of opportunity for growth. It's a lot of opportunity to shore things up and make things better and stronger and faster. And if provided this opportunity to serve, that is my commitment, is less time talking and more time working. Thank you. I yield the rest of my time.
Thank you, Member Plants. I think that's all for speeches. Chair Pro Tem.
Thank you, Member Plants and Member Floyd. We will now hold a vote on each nomination in the order received. Jaja Floyd has been nominated for co-chair position B. Members, please say aye to vote in favor of the nomination of Jaja Floyd, and nay to vote against. Alex, will you please take a roll call vote?
Yes, please state your vote when I call your name. This is for Jaja Floyd for position B. Patricia Sam,
Yes.
Tamara Bauman,
Aye.
TT White,
Nay.
Jaja Floyd,
Yay.
Bella Irons,
Nay.
Dorsal Plants,
No.
Ruby Romero,
No, thank you.
Martha Sacerosi,
Yes.
Christina Sawicki is a nay. Elizabeth Moffin,
Yay.
Victor Liu,
No.
Kenyatta Carol Hillman,
Nay.
five nays. Seven nays, motion is not passed.
To correct the record, I think it's 5 yeas, correct?
Yes.
5 yeas, 7 nays, 0 abstentions.
Okay, we'll now move forward. Dorsal Plants has been nominated for co-chair position B. Members, please say A to vote in favor of the nomination of Dorsal Plants and nay to vote against. Alex, please take a roll call vote.
Please state your vote for dorsal position B when I call your name. Patricia Sam,
Nay.
Tamara Bauman,
Nay.
CT White,
Yay.
Jaja Floyd,
Nay.
Bella Irons,
Yay.
Dorsal Plants,
Yes.
Ruby Romero,
Yes, yes.
Martha Sacerosi,
Nay. No.
Christina Sawicki is a yay. Elizabeth Moffin,
Yay.
Victor Liu,
Yes.
Kenyatta Carol Hillman,
Yes.
8 yays. And four noes. Thank you. Like trying to count your slide.
Congratulations, Dorsal Plants is the new co-chair position B. So do I have a motion to adjourn the meeting today?
I move to adjourn the meeting.
I second that.
Any objections? Okay, thank you all for being here today. Meeting is adjourned.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everybody.
We'll miss you
Geez,
all.
that was amazing.